Welcome back to my review series on The Familiar of Zero. Before Season 4, I guess it's time to review the OVA episode, which is a beach episode, because of course it is. But first, there's a couple other extra materials released from the anime series. First, there's the Maid's Afternoon extras and the Countess Butterfly's Graceful Day extras. These are just still images with voice acting, so I'm not exactly sure what to call them. They aren't drama CDs. The series had actual drama CDs as well, but they're not actual animation really either, just panning across still images. Also, I have no idea how these were originally distributed. In Maid's Afternoon, Louise acts as Saito's maid in a fictional story with different names, but they don't stay in character all the time. Louise gets into situations that cause her to get mad and beat up Saito or create fan service images. Not sure if the fan service is Louise being really clumsy or it's intentionally clumsy on her part. This was mildly entertaining. I had no lofty expectations for it. In Countess Butterfly, it's a story of romance between a countess and her gardener who saved her from a bandit. It's pretty much the same as Maid's Afternoon, but without the switch in power dynamics, so there's really nothing here besides some entertainingly silly faces. It's just a different framing to tell the story that The Familiar of Zero already is telling. Countess Butterfly was actually mentioned in episode 8 of season 3 as well, so I guess it's an actual book in Halkagenia. Is there any literature in Halkagenia that's not romance novels or ancient spellbooks? I don't know. Now, the actual OVA episode. If this episode happened in the actual run of the show, I would hate this. But as a standalone OVA episode with only one purpose, well, I was fine watching this episode once, but rewatching it to write this script was not all that fun. I'm just gonna leave it at that it's not something I want more of. I have loved anime with extreme sexuality in the past, like Panty and Stocking, but it's way more acceptable when characters are choosing to flaunt their bodies compared to this contrived situation set up entirely for the benefit of male gaze that many of the female cast clearly aren't that comfortable with. But let's have some fun with this episode. It's not to be taken seriously. So it's been a while since we saw any silly objects from Earth show up, so I'm completely on board with the silly premise for a silly episode. If all you wanted from this episode was to see characters in swimsuits, well, some mysterious swimsuits from Earth showing up, exactly what you wanted for this episode. I can't even say the episode was super predictable because I certainly did not expect an octopus to attack. As far as the actual fan service, it's definitely the sexiest in the show's run. I mean, complete with a tentacle monster, they were going all in here. I still didn't think it was particularly arousing, partly because a lot of it just felt creepy, but I'll buy that the characters are certainly aroused. Unsurprisingly, I don't have much to say about this one silly episode, as I did an entire season. There's no point in speculating on what the world of Halkagenia could learn from the modern materials of the swimsuits. This is an OVA. They could introduce radical world-changing tech and it would just never be seen again. And there's already some sort of elastic in this world anyway, because Louise's underwear is stretchy. So maybe a modern women's swimsuit isn't even groundbreaking on a technology level. It's a world with magic. They can hand-wave anything they want. How about a few interesting things in this episode? First, there's a lot of characters in this episode, and I don't mean the main characters. I mean loads and loads of unnamed background characters. This episode somehow gives a better sense of the size of the student body at the school than any of the serious episodes. Also, for whatever reason, Sylphide isn't around in this episode, despite everyone else being there, and Sylphide already running around in skimpy clothes in the main season. Maybe they don't want her to reveal her nature to everyone. But I would have liked to see her lounging in the sea in dragon form, too. But then she would have been there to help fight the octopus, and maybe the writers didn't want that. Or maybe it's just because this OVA is supposed to actually take place before that reveal. Time is hard to nail down if you just watch any episode out of order. This is clearly after the bath episode in Season 3, but it could be any point after there. Just like every episode, I wish old Osmond wasn't there because he's even more of a creep than usual in this episode. Sorry, even trying to have fun with this, he's still a huge perv in a position of authority. He gets tied up too, but he needs to be removed from his post entirely. And those are my thoughts on the extra materials for The Familiar of Zero. Next up, Season 4. That video is probably going to be much, much longer than this.